we're writing a thing called Enterprice. Yeah, that's coming out. I think September, October. We're writing that. We're writing some faith-based stuff. I've been writing a lot of stuff at church. So that's like plays at church and stuff. Enterprise is a show about two young boys in London, Southeast London, who set up a home delivery errand service. And it's just about these two boys who go through a journey within their friendship and within their environment. And it's just like a warm, fun show. So when I was doing the Hood documentary, I think this is when the Hood documentary was, we were making it for BBC Three. I remember during the time I just had other ideas. Tara and I were just messing around with ideas and stuff. And then had other ideas. And with that, I remember I just thought about things that I could do that I wanted to do after. Then I watched Atlanta. And I think Atlanta changed the game for me. I mean, Donald Glover is the boss. So I watched that and I was like, this is quite a simple story, it's a simple structure. Like some things that I saw in it, and then I just took it and then Enterprise. It was a thought at first. I watched like Silicon Valley, Atlanta. It was a thought at first, and then the seed was planted, and it just grew and grew. Then when I decided to stop doing Hood documentary, and my agent was like, "What else do you want to do?" And I gave it Enterprise, and then Fudge Park, the production company I made it with, were like, "Yeah," and BBC Three were like, "Yeah." Then we just made it happen. The decision to stop doing the Hood documentary was fairly. It was hard. It was hard, mainly because of the people attached to it. You know, when people attached to it, and not people. I mean, as in like people watching it. I think it's the people who I made it with, the people who were involved in it, the people who produced it. You know, on that front it was hard, but I think for me as a human being, I felt convicted, and I was like, I'm done. There's not much more I can give RS, and I'd rather just leave him to just resonate in the atmosphere. So yeah, it was a fairly simple thing to do, but in terms of when you think about those around it, and you know, and I guess the work that was put into it, you know, a lot of people thought, oh, that's the thing, that's the one, you can go far with it, whatever. But I was like, I'm done. I'm time to move on. You know, the reason I decided to stop with documentary, the best example I can give is because it's the best example I can give is when you're like in, and I keep this all the time, when you're like in secondary school, you know, and you done your GCSEs and it's time to go to college. You don't just stay in secondary school, you progress from primary school to secondary school to college, and if you want to go uni, you go uni or whatever. But imagine seeing like a 20-year-old in like secondary school. It looks strange, you know, and I mean, it just looks wrong. I mean, fair enough, might be smarter than everyone else in the room or whatever, might have more knowledge, but it's time for you to move on, you know. And also I just felt it was time. You feel it. You know, you feel it when it's like, I'm done. I couldn't give any more. If I was giving more to the characters, it was for people. And I don't succumb to peer pressure by the grace of God. I don't really, that's not what I do. So yeah, people, I don't play for people, I play for myself. So I think it only felt right to just stop. When Hood documentary was done, it was an interesting period because I know Ray and Tara and I mean, when we started this, just like these three boys, we don't even really know what we're doing, but we just found gold and we were just working hard at it. So when it's done, of course, you know, Tara and I and Ray and I, we spent a lot of time together, and like going to Ray's house or shooting around the area. And then when it's done, you go your separate ways, you know. So you just have to move on, and know when it's time to move on, and it was just time. So my input in Enterprise was that I created the show in terms of the story, the characters. I wrote the world around it. I starred in it. In terms of writing, just consisted of me writing 4 episodes. So I wrote the pilot, then we shot the pilot, then it gave me a 4-part series. So I wrote all the episodes. And when you're writing, you come up with structure, with characters and stuff. Then Kyle Bino-Smith and Nida Manzoor, the director, would come in sometimes when I finish writing like an episode, and I'll just riff stuff. Or at the beginning of the writing process, Enomorphon and Kayode sat with me like in a sweaty room, and we're just discussing things and talking about things. So in terms of writing and creating, I think they're the same thing, but some creators they become showrunners. So they may, like, I think the guy on Breaking Bad, I forgot his name. So you can have an idea, you can create a world and say, okay, this is like, because in America they do much more, they produce much more episodes than the UK because they have much more money and a bigger budget. So you have stuff like Breaking Bad, which is like a 12-part, 24-part series or whatever. So the guy can't do it by himself. So he'll be a showrunner in terms, what he will do is that he will have an idea and then he'll get writers to come on the team and then they'll write episodes for him or for her. But I didn't have, I wasn't a showrunner, I was just a guy just writing all the episodes from my room, my toilet, wherever I had to write it. And then I starred in it as well, so I was learning lines and stuff, which felt weird. I haven't acted in a minute, but I'm here. The experience with BBC when writing Enterprise was amazing because I think the whole documentary opened a lot of doors, you know, opened many, many doors. So they realized that, and I think when the whole documentary went on BBC Three, you know, the texture changed. It tasted different, you know, still the same food, but it just tasted different. And I think when we were making it for the BBC Three, it was interesting because we were encouraged to write in terms of narrative. So who's RS's family and and all these kind of things that we had to think about, which was good. Then we made it, and when it came out, lovely. But it's just, as you can see, when you look back on YouTube, it's more free. And RS is not really doing anything, just roaming the streets. There's no story. I mean, he just does whatever he wants to do. It was more raw, you know. So I think when they realized that the difference between it, because I think now they're putting much more raw stuff on BBC Three, but I think when they realized that the texture changed and that's why it didn't really, some people liked it or whatever, but that's why it didn't really hit as it did on YouTube. I think with Enterprise, they were like, you know what, let him do what he needs to do and we'll believe in the vision, and they believed in it, and that's why I think it's amazing in my own opinion, my humble opinion. Enterprise is a good show. And Enterprise is strange because I don't even know what it is. It's just a show. It's really, I mean, it really talks about, for Kazim, so it's Kazim and Jeremiah, they're the two protagonists. So it talks about, for Kazim being a young Nigerian boy in London, and Treve, who plays Jeremiah, being a young Caribbean boy in London, and just being young boys, you know. I mean, Treve's character, who plays Treve, is amazing. I mean, the guy is fun. And Thea's in it as well. She's really good. So for Treve, I mean, like his character is just a guy who's still in uni, but his friend doesn't know, Kazim doesn't know, and then Kazim, just like young Nigerian boy, he just wants to make it, and his dad is in Nigeria, stuck in Nigeria for some reason. His mum wants him to move out. So I think there's just so many layers. There's just so many layers to it. So in terms of it being like a narrative show, it's more so a social commentary. Yeah, I'll say Enterprise is a social commentary on the world today that young people live in, or entrepreneurs also, because they're entrepreneurs, isn't it? So yeah, how important is God in my career? Very, very important. I think he plays a big part. I don't do a lot of things. I mean, I don't take a lot of roles. And my agent, God bless her soul, she's learning. She's learning a lot about what I like and what I don't like and whatever. I choose not to swear or any sense of nudity or whatever in my work or kiss. So taking out all those things is, you know, I mean, any agent would be like, well, I don't understand this. I mean, that's a lot of roles that are whatever, but you'd be surprised that regardless, more roles keep coming, you know, and there's not even time. Most of my time is at church and doing stuff there and working, because we do have a thing called Film Stars at church, and working towards making plays and putting on plays and stuff, and those guys, they're amazing. So that's something that I really want to push more and do more, you know, and I feel like God has really opened my eyes in terms of I'm not just an actor, writer, you know, there's more I think this is just a season that I'm in and I enjoy it, but acting and writing is not my life. and it'll never be my life. It's a part of my life, isn't it? Have I ever felt conflicted with doing certain roles? That's a good question, and the answer is, of course. I'll be a lie if I said I haven't. There's been roles that I wanted, but I don't think I wasn't brave enough to speak about what I believe in for a long time. And you have people now who like Letitia Wright and all these people who are open about their faith and stuff, But I wasn't open about. I was just still trying to I'm not too sure, these kind of things. But there's been times where there've been roles that I've had to turn down. I mean, a lot of money. And then I'm looking at my account and there's no money in there. So it's like, what do I do? But then you trust in what you believe in. You trust in the Lord, you trust in what you believe in. And I'm a firm believer in God. I'm not perfect in it, but I trust. And I mean, He's brought me this far. I mean, I'm acting and writing full time now. Predominantly writing, which is what I prefer, but I'm alive. I'm not on the street begging for change. I'm alive. So being a full-time writer looks like the atmosphere, oxygen, isn't it? I mean, non-existent. It doesn't make sense. You wake up in the morning, you have to write a script, and you send it off. You don't know if you're going to get a commission. All these kind of things. You sometimes it's really. I mean, you have to be on the ball, because it's like writing is a thing that's lovely, but I mean, when you're thinking of an idea, you're thinking of it's like a Rubik's Cube, and each Rubik's Cube has an algorithm, and you have to figure out the algorithm of what works at one point, and you think you got it right, and you see one side is green, and you see one small yellow dot there, so you have to start again, and all these kind of things, you think you've cracked it, and the truth, you never crack it, because I watch Enterprise and say, oh, this could have been different, or that wasn't clear enough, so you never crack it. Perfection does not exist, but it does. Writing, I mean, as we came here today, I had my laptop. I wasn't talking to anyone. I was just writing because I had this thing that's in my head, and now it just started to come. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be antisocial and just write this down, and then I'll come back and I talk to human beings. It can come at any time. It's like being on a toilet seat and you want to poo and it doesn't come. You have to wait. Sometimes it doesn't come and you're like, okay, cool. Let me just put my trousers back on and go about my business. You have to literally just wait for it to come, and it may not come. You can't say, I'm going to poo today. I'm going to poo at 2:00. It doesn't work like that. It just comes out of nowhere, Being a writer, how it works is that you have a writing agent. So you get signed to a writing agent. And then when you get signed to a writing agent, so you send out your scripts and stuff. You're like, okay, cool, I want to be a writer. So sometimes you should have scripts you've already written and stuff. You send it off to production companies. More time they say, okay, we can't take this unless you have a writing agent. You're represented by an agent. Okay, cool. So you email agents and stuff, go in for meetings and stuff. You see who you like, you sign with them, and what their job is mainly, when you have an agent that represents your writing, they can represent your writing and directing. So their job is mainly to sell you and say, hey, this is John McJagger. He's a great writer. He's written this. He's done this. This is why he should be on your writing team, or this is why he should be interviewed to write this new script, or this is why he should be writing episode 4 of Fresh Me, or this series in the EastEnders, because he knows about you lot are dealing with this, but he's been through this. And so it's their job to just sell you and try and get you work to write. Or when you have your own ideas, you send it to your agent, they send it to production companies, and you have meetings with production companies. You have a lot of meetings where they offer you a lot of water. You have meetings with production company after production company after production company, and you gauge who you like. Then they option your idea and they pay you money and you agree that, okay, this idea that I have, we're going to decide as a production company and as a client, we're going to work on it together for a year or 6 months. And then you come up with an idea with maybe a script. Then you go to with a treatment, you go to a network, Channel 4, BBC, Netflix or whatever, and you say, this is an idea we have. Do you guys want it? More time they're like, I don't really know you, you're a new writer, write a script. Here's money to write a script. And you write a script, drafts after drafts after drafts. Okay, I like it. Here's money let's shoot a pilot of the script. You shoot it. If it works, if everyone likes it, here's money for a series, and then good luck. So how Enterprise got commissioned was, so when Hood Dog was happening for BBC 3, I was thinking of ideas and stuff. I called my agent, Lottie. She's one of the best agents. I've got 2 agents, Sandra and Lottie. They're amazing. I called her, and then I was like, I have this idea, and she was like, basically said it's terrible, and said this is why it won't work, this is why it won't work. Still think about it. So for months, it was just there in the locker, and then I built on it. Hood doc, so stepped out of hood doc. Then Terrell doing his directing and writing, did my acting and writing. Ray doing his shooting, did our own things, and then from then, I was like, okay, I have this idea. Then I sent it to my agent, the new draft. He was like, cool. Sent it to Fudge Park Production Company. And then we sent the idea, the treatment to BBC. And they were like, okay, here's money to write a script. Hood Doc I wrote with Terrell. So Fudge Park were like, okay, let's try and get you like someone to write with. And I was like, okay, cool. I wrote it by myself. They're like, you don't need a writer. Yeah, this is fine. Wrote it. BBC were like, okay, cool. Let's have a read through of the script. So we went in the room. We had a read through. Then they said, okay, cool. Here's money to make a pilot. Made a pilot last year. Great. And then when I was filming Action Team in Bulgaria, I got the news that they want to give me 4 episodes for a series. And I was like, cool. Actors or writers who are new, who don't have agents, just make work, man. I mean, I remember one of the best times was when I saw people just do nothing. You know, it was one of the best times when I was making Vines. You know, I had an account called Uncle K. I was making Vines, and I remember doing the stuff with Terrell, the Hood Doc, like when RS was still in the car, he recorded it, all that, and then Ray came on to shoot the Hood Doc. But before we shot Hood Doc, I remember watching people just do nothing, thinking this is amazing. Calling up Terrell, I was like, T man, let's make a mockumentary. Like, cool. Then Ray, this guy that used to go to my uni, he was always late to lectures. I mean, that's always late. I mean, he looked like he was tired all the time. He just out of it. And I mean, he was like, messaged me at the right time saying, if you're doing anything, bro, I'd love to get involved and whatever. And then we just got together and just started figuring out how to shoot this thing. That was the best. We were just young and free. I mean, we had no money. I mean, I didn't have a car or anything like that. I had no money at all, you know, and just making work. But those are the best times, because later on it can become a burden if you're not careful. You know, everyone wants to get signed quickly and whatever. But when your agent's telling you, don't go for this role, and then you listen, you may feel restricted. So when you have the opportunity to go for everything and anything, go for it. See what you like, see what you don't like. You know, people want everything to come to them. You should make your own work. Just write stuff. Go and see stuff. Go and make stuff. You know, and don't put it out with the heart of like, I want it to go viral. Everyone asks me, how did you go viral? How did your meme go viral? I was like, I've never retweeted that meme once in my life, because that's not what I'm about. I mean, it's a meme, isn't it? Cool, but that's not why I make work to be a meme. You know, of the year. It's not my calling. You know. And I mean, people, how did the meme go viral? How did Hood Dog go viral? And Terrell, Ray, and I never sat down and said we're gonna go viral from this thing or whatever. Even Fire in the Booth, we never sat down. After we did it with Charlie, and I was with some friends, and we just left. No one said it's gonna go viral, whatever. I just wanted to make work, you know. And that's the mindset we should have. I'm just making work, and if people like it, it's good. I mean, it's nice. If they don't like it, you keep moving, you know. Online content in relation to carving out a career is bittersweet. I think, depending on who you are. It can be sweet, but it can also be bitter. And I say this because now people, yeah, you're making money from it, but not a lot of people are paying attention to their craft, you know? They want to make it quick. How can I get views? How can I get subscribers? How can I whatever? And fair enough, if you want to do that because you were born on a council estate with no money and now you can buy mum a car and you can now, who am I to say what you're doing is wrong? You know what I mean? That's just, I don't know your financial situation, cool. But in the long run, what you see is that you haven't learned anything. You know, you haven't learned anything about how to nurture your craft, how to be a businessman. Do you know? All these people that we love, that we look at, they have degrees, you know. I think that's what makes me sad. People want to make it quick. When I was young, I wanted to act. If I saw an actor, I remember the first time I saw Daniel Kelly, he's a cool person. I'll say we're friends. Daniel gave me a call. When Hood Dog came out. I remember he gave me a call. I mean, I love Daniel. I loved his stuff, but he gave me a call and he was just saying, just give me advice and whatever. Then we started to meet up at coffee shops and started to talk. But anything I would ask him was acting related. Nowadays, people ask me, how much are you getting paid? How many girls are in this, or how many girls have you slept with? I mean, people have the guts to ask you these questions because it's like they're into the lifestyle, not the work, not the craft, you know? And I think that's what really makes me sad. If I saw Denzel, I would ask them, Denzel, so this thing, method, or whatever, about acting, if I saw people like Olivia Colman or writers that I admire, Donald Glover, like, Donald, so this episode in Atlanta, how did you do that? What's your this, what's that, and what's your story, this and that, what's the payoff? All these kind of like technical kind of jargon. You know, I'm thinking about the craft. I'm thinking, I want to write something. People will be asking him, this thing or that thing, or how did it feel winning the Grammy? Oh, you met Drake. How did it feel meeting Drake? And it's like, it is what it's come to, you know? That's why I admire people who see me and don't always ask for pictures. They ask for wisdom, because wisdom lasts longer than a picture. I promise you. So after Enterprise, what is next? I got another script commission by BBC, writing something, which is interesting. And apart from that, I don't know, nothing. You know, I want to make, like, I mean, my aim is to make the ministry that I lead called Film Stars in church, is to go as far with that as possible. I mean, there's a group called, I think Yahweh, YIA, who make like faith-based production and stuff. You know, and now branching out to do more. I mean, that's what I want to do with the people that I'm with in church. I want to make plays about faith and ask questions and encourage people. That's what I want to do. I think that's what's on my heart, man. Even faith-based things out, even on YouTube and stuff. I want to do more faith-based things. But as for Enterprise after that, I don't know what else my agent's going to put in front of me. I don't know what else people put in front of me. But I know what I want to do is more faith-based stuff. There's a place in my heart for that.